the Nonprofit Podcast, powered by Donorbox.
Getting new donors isn't easy. I'm not even kidding when I say we get messages every single week asking, how do I find donors? Welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast. I'm Cara, fundraising coach at Donorbox. We're here each week with practical actions you can use today to increase donations and take your nonprofit to the next level tomorrow. You know, I think some organizations are looking for a magical list of patrons for their organization. It takes work, but you can grow your list from 0 to 1,000 and then to the next 1,000 and so on by incorporating some good practices into your routine. You need to look at the right place for new donors too. Not everyone is going to be interested in your organization, and that's okay. We think you're pretty awesome for sure, and others will too. There are some quick ways to increase your presence in the community so that you're not the best kept secret around. And you can do each of these right now this week. First, work from the inside out. Your best donors are right there near you in your own community. They see the impact you're making with your organization. Take a look at your volunteers and your board. Who else is already engaged in your organization and can see your impact firsthand? Then, once your key volunteers are on board, move outward. Talk to your neighbors and those in the community who have similar values and interests. Ask all of these people to share the good work you do with others. You can equip them with some key talking points and schedule some check-ins as well. You can really grow a community. When you start to have those engaged supporters, ask them to engage others. And how do they do that? How do they engage others? Well, Donorbox peer-to-peer fundraising is a great way to do this. You can create a template giving page and invite your super fans to raise awareness and create their own page. Encourage them to each gather a certain number of supporters or a certain amount of money within a short time period. We have some great how-to articles, videos, and templates for you at Donorbox Academy to promote this Donorbox peer-to-peer fundraising. Next, make it a personal goal to engage with one new supporter or potential supporter personally, and do this 3 times per week, every week. Make appointments with people, pick up the phone, meet someone for coffee. Just make it a regular habit and you will reap the rewards. Look at every interaction and event as a relationship building opportunity and capture contact information for those who attend. Civic groups are often thirsty for good speakers. You know, we have several Donorbox organizations who have done this recently. For instance, we have an organization that works with human trafficking, and the community was relatively unaware of this organization and was unaware that there was some trafficking activity in the community. And so the executive director got in front of some local civic groups and parent groups to share some facts and some tips to prevent it, and they really grew their newsletter list and donor rolls as a result. So it was a win-win there. You can maybe consider engaging with a young professionals group in your community or even starting one and create some volunteer opportunities within your organization for that group. These are terrific ways to get in front of new audiences and show them your organization and the mission that you have. In every instance, every time you're with a new supporter, show what your organization has done and tell stories about who your organization has helped or what it has done. Use stories to give people a reason to want to support what you're doing. You can't just assume that people already know the mission, the message, and how great you are. Even if it seems really repetitive to you, this may be new information to them. So continually show them and tell them. Okay, those were a couple tips on how to find some new donors. Next, here are a few tips to help you keep them. The key to keeping new donors is to build relationships with them. How do you do this? Well, there are 3 easy ways to do this. First is through social media. Are there any social media trends or news stories relevant to your organization? Social media gives nonprofits the opportunity to relate their mission to major events happening in real time, and this gives nonprofit supporters a real-life example of why the organization is needed. For instance, inflation is really financially hurting so many right now, especially low-income families. I've seen a local food bank reshare some current news stories and then educate readers on how they can give or volunteer right now to help bridge that gap caused by increased food and fuel costs. And then when you do post or share, you can ask your board members and your super fans to engage with that post with likes and reposts to expand your reach and audience size organically. Next, grow relationships through in-person interaction. Person-to-person interaction is really impactful and can be done through the phone or with a simple handwritten note. Nonprofits can strengthen relationships with donors with a simple phone call. For instance, after an annual fundraiser, have your board members or committee volunteers call event donors to thank them for their gift. Don't use these calls to solicit any more gifts, and most donors won't answer, so don't hesitate to leave a nice voicemail. But some will be so pleased by the action that they may even donate even more. In this technological age of emails and text messages and social media, never lose sight of what an old school handwritten message can say about you and your organization. You can really stand out among the noise, and it's a simple way to take that new donor to higher levels of giving over time. Think about it. Which would you rather open at the end of a long day, junk mail or a hand-addressed envelope? Stand out from the crowd, be personal, and remember you're communicating with a person. Think relationship, not just transaction. Last, it's not as difficult as it seems to grow relationships through video. You can send personal videos to invite donors to an event or participate in a fundraising campaign. It's almost as good as face-to-face. You can encourage board members and staff members and volunteers to help create these videos. And then once a supporter gives, send a quick video through a text message to say thank you. We have a great resource for you that will help keep your communication strategy on track with our Donorbox Communication Best Practices handout. Just click the link in the show notes and you'll have it on hand whenever you need it. And if you want to know more about Donorbox peer-to-peer, plus get those checklists and templates to share with those who are fundraising on your behalf, get our free peer-to-peer toolkit at academy.donorbox.org. The link is in the show notes. And while you're there, you'll notice something new. It's an Ask Me Anything link. If you have any questions at all regarding your fundraising strategy, your campaigns, or the tools you have, all you have to do is click the link. Open the form and ask. We will answer these on upcoming podcast episodes, and we will only mention you by name if you give us permission to do so. Starting next week, our Donorbox fundraising and software wizards will be answering one or two of your questions at the end of each show. So my question is, what do you want to know? And thank you for choosing to spend time with the Nonprofit Podcast. I hope you've left with confidence to take a small step today that will make a big difference tomorrow. Don't forget to download and review the podcast or give it a thumbs up if you're listening to the Nonprofit Podcast on YouTube. Your review is a great way to help others find us. You're here to help others. We're here to help you. So until next time, stay inspired.
People, passion, connection, action. Put the power to change the world in your supporters' hands this giving season. Maximum reach, maximum impact. Feel the fundraising power of connection. Donorbox peer-to-peer, helping you help others.